All right, members of the culture. I am Ra, and you are here. Sorry, I get a little comfortable here. A little bit of a mess, but hey, that's all right. I'm here. So I'm here. You're here. That's what really ultimately matters. So welcome in, members of the culture again. Definitely glad to see everybody. Hope everybody is doing well at this particular point in time, wherever you may be in the world. So if you've read our description, you know the purpose of going live here is that this is actually a live episode of Catch the Fade podcast. Episode, excuse me one second, got a little mess here. Got a little mess up. But it's live television, so with live television, anything can happen. But anyway, as I said, you are now watching the Catch the Fade podcast. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is episode number 3. Yes, indeed. We made it. We made it. We made it. We made it. And before anybody asks me, yes, the Kingpin is still supposed to eventually hit us here on the podcast. I got too much going on this desk. A lot going on here. Look, so y'all can see it. A lot going on right there on this desk. I got a shout out Arizona tea here. I'm drinking it, but they're not paying me for it, so I don't want to cast any aspersions and have anybody from Arizona coming for me. All right, look, all jokes aside, let's get into this, right? So we're going to talk about what's going on with Diamond Comics. We're going to talk about what's going on with Super Seven. We're going to talk about just the rising cost right now of our hobby and what it costs to be a member of the culture, per se, at this time. So, first things first, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you that did not know, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not a definitive uh, news guru on this, so please, by all means, do your own research. But the situation over at Diamond Comics, um, I definitely would like to send all of my well wishes and I'm not gonna say condolences, I don't know what passed, but I'm going to send the best well wishes and positive thoughts to all those good men and women that may be working or were working over at Diamond Comics because for those of you that don't know, that's been going on for months now. They've kind of been in limbo about the sale, like who they were going to sell to and who owned it, and there was some back and forth about the deal being shady on who purchased it. It's just a whole lot. I got a good friend of mine, actually a former classmate of mine, named Charles, and he has a channel called Figuring It Out. Right, Charles is very talented. He does some incredible stuff with 3D painting and 3D stuff. I gotta get in contact with him. He's a really good dude, very knowledgeable about the industry. He's actually in it as a distributor and so on and so forth. But I won't put all his business out there. But it's Charles for figuring it out. So he's been covering the story for a long time. So major props and shout outs to him. Chuck, if you're looking, man, peace. Good to hear from you. But there's some wacky stuff been going on over there at Diamond, man. Like as I said, it's been a bit shady with them filing for bankruptcy and then being sold and not being sold, and it's a mess. If you just take your time, folks, and Google and read it, you'll come across the story. But the important part that the in all of this is that people's livelihood has been affected. So to the men and women whose livelihood was affected because they are effectively shut down as of the time of this recording. Right now, it's May 22nd. But as of the time of this recording, they're supposed to be shut down right now with no future in sight. Don't know if this means somebody else is going to purchase them. Don't know if it means they're done for good. I'm not sure anything at this point with Diamond Comics. No, nobody is, right? Probably. So for those people since it's shut down, we do know that. For those that have lost employment, certainly all the positive thoughts and well wishes we can send out go to you. I've been there. Obligatory going. I've been there, and I'm sure some of you, under the sound of my voice, may have been there at some time in your life, and it does suck to lose employment. So, well wishes and thoughts to all of the people that were affected by what went on at Diamond Comics. They put out a lot of toys, so I got people that distributors. So people that had pre-orders and stuff on Diamond Toys, I know there were people that did. Um, Marvel Selects and so on that and stuff like that. I'm sure they'll find another way to get Marvel Selector. So I hope. But Diamond Select, they did a lot of statues. And speaking of statues, the first person that comes to mind when I think of Diamond Comics is a statue. So I automatically go shout out to my main man, Tony the Toy Rat. So to him, because he covers a lot of statues. Awesome work on his channel. If you've not watched it, please, please, please go check out Tony the Toy Rat. Support that brother's amazing channel. I have a Hulk statue that came from them. Really nice one. Not the Immortal Hulk, but probably a step below it. You've seen it before. Um, and I just got to thinking, I really was thinking about them the other day, about another statue. And now that's up in the air. And you know that I don't want to put that out in the ether, but the guys that have properties from them that did get it, what normally happens, folks, when this kind of stuff occurs, scalpers go crazy. They see dollar signs and say, hey, let me go ahead and get down with that. Let's go ahead and see how much money I can get out of somebody's pocket. Now, I'm hoping that does not happen, that we don't have scalpers going crazy and just charging ridiculous prices. But if you go online now and check for, and it could have been this way for a while, the Immortal Hulk, excuse me, the Immortal Hulk figure, he's going for some crazy prices, right? And that figure's like 4 or 5 years old easily. The Immortal Hulk's going for like over $100, and I only imagine with this Diamond Comics thing, any properties or stuff that you got from them until another distributor such is found, it's just going to shoot up in price. That's just my guess. That's just the game, man. That's the world we live in. It's going to suck that happens, but that's what that's like I said. That's the game. That's what happens when you can't get that product. Supply and demand. Some people are gonna be fair, and then you have some people that are just gonna be money, money, baby, and they're just gonna charge you whatever it is that they could possibly charge. Because they're like, hey, let me cash in, right? So anyway, enough about them. On to Super Seven. You guys know, Super Seven. I've covered them before. They produce some turtle stuff that I've gotten. Obviously, you guys know one of my favorite properties is Silverhawks. You guys know I've covered ad nauseum Silverhawks on this channel, with Monstar being my favorite. There's some Thundercats action up there, and Silverhawks, Lion from Hook Mountain, an underrated figure. And then, of course, the head of security, Monkey. And we definitely got to talk about Super Seven. So that's not as cut and dry as you would like for it to be. There's definitely some weird stuff going on with that too, with people losing their jobs. And again, much like the Diamond Select situation, I send out the same positive thoughts, well wishes to the people if their employment has been affected. Well wishes go out to you too. Don't want to see anybody lose their jobs. Now, it's a little bit murkier in that situation because you got the company saying one thing and then you have artists and employees saying another. So this is what's going on, pointing it's them, it's them, it's them, it's them. At the end of the day, they're still human beings. So the men and women that may have been affected by that have lost employment, again, we here at the channel certainly send our well wishes to you that you can land on your feet sooner rather than later. That you get back to being great artists and people that help us, excuse me, they're going to talk about me in the comments. People that help us to get the figures that we want, particularly in the case of Super 7. They like a lot of nostalgic properties, Thundercats, Silver Hawks, things like that. So, to those men and women, please, please, I hope that you will land. I'm sure, I'm praying for you that you'll get gainful employment and can continue to do what you do, and that's help produce quality figures, whether it's being rehired at Super 7, if that happens, or whether you go to NECA or somewhere else, where you can use your skills to support yourselves and your families. Certainly nothing but the best wish by us here to all of you. As I said, you can Google these things and read for yourself because I always believe you should get the research. Now, just know when you dive into the Super 7 situation, when you dive into the Diamond Comic situation, there to those situations, there's a lot going on with that and a lot to unpack. So just know it's not everything is definitive and there's a lot of questions. You may have more questions than answers when you get done because I know I kind of do when it comes to that. But in any case, my main goal is that I want to send out the well wishes to the people that were affected. Don't like to see anybody lose their job. No, no, no. Now that brings up, as I talked about the scalpers, and please let's to those that are out there that might be scalpers. Um, I do not want to cause any problems with any scalpers and hurt nobody's feelings because I know how that is when you say something to scalp. When you say the word scalper, people get all kinds of offended and take it the wrong way. To those of you that are collecting, I have no issues at all. At all. You've got to make your money. If you collect and you resell, I have no issues at all. To those of you that scalp and you know who you are, it's fair game for you to do what you do. So it's fair game for me or any other potential consumer to talk about it. So if you're offended by the word scalper, then that means you're probably doing it. Just kidding. I don't just throw the word around willy nilly, but there are scalpers out there, and I don't support scalping. That's just my opinion. If you do, you do. But I personally just don't. So so enough about them. Tying into the topic of what does it cost to be a member of the culture? If you've been paying attention, the prices on our figures have really been rising lately. We're going to naturally point a finger, and as I said in the description of the video, we're definitely going to shine a light on, and please, as you guys are called, the Hasbros, please don't come after me, okay? Because I don't have a problem with Hasbro as a company. I mean, I do, but I'm not an anti-Hasbro or anything like that. But I believe in giving people what they want, and I believe in giving people what they want for a fair price, right? And Hasbro does have a reputation for not always doing that, particularly when it comes to Marvel. And in talking about Hasbro and talking about Marvel, we know that something that launched not that long ago was the Maximum Spider-Man at $50. And boy, 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 was that a tricky subject. That was a slippery slope to navigate. A lot of discourse around that, a lot of conversation. A lot of people felt some type of way about the Maximum Spider-Man. I personally do not have it, so let me be clear on that. I don't have a dog in the fight or horse in the race or whatever kind of analogy you want to use when it comes to that, right? So I have seen the reviews, I've read the reviews. I'm talking about a lot. I didn't read three or four. I've probably read about 20 and seen, I don't know, 30, 40 videos or so on it because there's plenty of them out there. I do like to still find out things. One thing about me, folks, you'll find out that us here even if I, don't collect a particular figure, a particular line, it's good to know. I mean, just because I don't collect that line doesn't mean I might not find it interesting, and doesn't mean I don't want to learn about it. We share a lot of love here. We got people that shout out to Clever's Multiverse again. I always shout him out. He did a wonderful thing on Transformers, which is something we're considering because, as you know, we're G1 over here, and we had a little apprehension about diving back into it. But I say that to say that that property is very near and dear to my heart, and I'm not exactly 100% sure how to dive into it because I've heard horror stories about them breaking and they're not exactly cheap, folks. Ooh, Lord, no, no, no. Transformers prices are there's a wide range. He covers it in that video, so please, I'll link that if I haven't already. But I will make sure. I thought I sent a link to Clever's Multiverse, but if I haven't, please go follow him. Great, he does a great deep dive on Transformers where you can kind of understand it and break it down. It was helpful to me. Because Lord knows it's a lot. Transformers is it's a big nostalgic property also, but it's got a lot. I mean, even it's going into the current, even though it's nostalgic, it's still going, right? Unlike something like Silverhawks or Thundercats, which they rebooted Thundercats. So I guess there is some point to reboot Silverhawks. I hope they get it right. I don't think they really got it right with Transformers, but that's for another video for another day. Point is, when it comes to these nostalgic properties, I just have to be very transparent. I'm skeptical. And you talk about me spending my dollars on it. The high cost. Remember that we just said it. The high cost of everything, particularly when it comes to these lines like that, they're not cheap, folks. Transformers not cheap. Silverhawk not cheap. Undercats not cheap. We are going to branch off on that in just a second, though. But when it comes to this, spending this money, and back to Hasbro, as I said, um, I believe in being in giving the consumer the a good product for a fair price, right? And with the Maximum Spider, it got reviewed, at first, and it seems like it took a little time because the first few reviews, whenever something launches with controversy, I never really ever listen to the first reviews. That's just me. You do whatever it is you want to do. But when it first launches, I don't listen to it because the first time, in my experience, the first few reviews are usually haters. I can't lie about it. That's usually what it is. Sometimes it's not. You will get some truth tellers in there, but the majority of the people, a lot of times, people do like that. It's a sad world we live in sometimes when it comes to collecting. It can be toxic. People tend to hate on stuff, right? So I usually don't read the first few reviews, even if they're overly positive. I don't read it because it's one, two things. Either you got the people that are trying to fight the haters and are overly defending something, or you got the haters that are just brutalizing something any way, shape, form, fashion they can because that's just what they like to do, you know? Um, so I waited and I read the reviews, and it turns out that this Maximum Spider-Man actually is highly rated, is a good figure. But the problem with that figure is this: that $50 price tag. And Clever was talking about in one of his other videos. Are they trying to price? He didn't say are they trying to price this out, but he mentioned is it getting too expensive to be collected? Because I don't know what made them jump to that price point either. Because you guys have heard me talk about the non Jamie Foxx Electro figure. Still don't have that either. He wasn't even a maximum. He was just a regular one, and he was like 40. He was $40, and I can't see it. That's just me. And no matter what it is, I say, you vote with your wallet. So no matter how I feel or anybody else feels, apparently enough people out there told Hasbro that, hey, we want this Maximum Spider, and yes, we'll pay $50. And Hasbro said, okay, cool, we'll give you a good figure. We don't know if we'll give you something worth $50. According to most of the reviews, it is. And anybody out there, please, by all means, if you got it, chime in the comments. Say, hey, I got the figure. The figure is awesome. Or no, I got the figure. I didn't think it was good enough for the money, but it was decent. Or hey, this figure sucks. Whatever it is, that's what the comment section is for. So please, please, please sound off down there and let us know what you think. But it let Hasbro know, hey man, they'll pay 50, let's go 60. Maximum Hulk all over the place. And why I don't know. I do not understand that. We're talking about something that was supposed to have been $60, which is already, $10 more than where we were. But I've seen him at 70. I've seen him at 80, 82.99 somewhere. I don't know if that was Amazon or where. Big Bad has him for higher. I think Best Buy had him at one point for like 50, I thought, or 60. I'm not sure. I think he was 50, but the price fluctuated here or there. It shows pre-order unavailable. He's all over the place. Depending on where you look, folks, he's going to go somewhere between 50 and $80. I don't know. That's where he is. But at the end of the day, he got creamed when it first came out, and they showed that footage that they were just all over the Maximum Hulk, man. The reviews were all over. Remember my rule now. I just sit back and I just kind of watch because as he has just now launched this week, as I remember it's the 22nd of May as I'm recording this, he's just hit within the last couple of days where people starting to get their hands on the actual final product. And um, again, I'm expecting some hate, and I'm definitely getting what I've been looking for. I have not found as many of the diehard defenders like, no, 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 no. Maximum Hulk's worth it. It's worth it. I haven't seen as many of them on that side of the fence as I have the haters, but I have seen some people defend certain things about it. It's going to be a divisive figure. I'm gonna keep it a buck because we always keep it a buck here. That's going to be a divisive figure. No matter what we say, you're going to have people that like it. You're going to have people that hate it based off the figure's merit. You're going to have people that like it and hate it just off the price. Even if it was a good figure, let's say it was awesome, people are still going to gripe about the price. And I don't blame them because that is high. At the end of the day, we're talking about a toy, a disposable income, man, and they got us out here dropping big bank on this habit, man. This is almost like somebody smoking cigarettes or something. We're spending a lot of disposable income to support this hobby that we have and we love, But it just is what it is. That's what's going on now. Don't get me started with the whole tariff thing, and hopefully that's getting worked out. But I'm sure there'll be a little bit of a raise in price, and some people will take advantage of that. But we'll cover that later too. But yeah, it's becoming, and that ties into what I was saying, like to be a member of the culture, to support the hobby right now. What's the cost of that? That's up to you, to be honest with you. Is it expensive? Yeah, it can be. It's not cheap like it used to be. So I'm gonna cover that right now. I'm gonna let that cat out the bag, right? Can it be inexpensive? I don't really think so. It depends on what you collect because you got a whole lot of options out here. Storm, you got SH Figure Arts, you got Mezco, you got Marvel Legends, you got DC Multiverse, you got Funko Pops. I mean, you got a lot of choices, man. Jada Toys, you got a lot of choices, right? And Jada, shout out to them. They've made some great figures over the last year or two since they've gotten in. Really doing a good job. Their figures are top. I think are really kind of top notch. If you hadn't checked them out, go ahead and check them out. But that being said, as a whole, yeah, it's pricey to do this. If you're watching this video and thinking, man, I want to get in and start collecting, should I go ahead and collect? I'd tell you, yeah, if you know your budget and you know the disposable income that you got to use. As long, remember, I told you there's 5 things that I wish I knew when I started. Number one, I told you it's never over. So if you're about to collect, remember it's never over. There's always the next new hot figure around the corner. Okay. So if you're thinking like, man, I'm good, you'll be good for now. It's going to take an incredible amount of willpower. You're going to have to know ahead of time when you first jump into this. I just want this line. I just want these figures. This is all I'm collecting. And you got to be steadfast, man, and strong in that because there's so many options right now. Just like I said, it's more expensive now than it ever has been, but you got so many options. When I first started years and years and years ago, right back in the dark ages, no such thing as these Funko Pops over here. Those Funko Pops didn't exist, right? So you didn't have that. That wasn't a lane that you could drive in. Storm Collectibles wasn't a thing. Um, I don't know that Mezco was either. You got so many options. Toy Biz and people like that. LJN, those are the folks. Hasbro's around, but those are the folks who were around then. And now all of a sudden it's just shot up, and you got a bunch of people, CT Toys, and I forgot that other third party that's out there that makes decent figures too. Um, you got a lot of choices. Here I am getting ready to drop a new top 10 on you, and I'm thinking about dropping multiple top 10s actually, because the top 10 overall is really a number one idea we're thinking about doing. But that would have to encompass all these lines. So now you got to factor in the lines I just talked about, DC Multiverse. You got to factor in Funko Pops. You got to factor in Jazzwares because that's for the wrestling figures. You got to factor in Storm and Jada and Marvel Legends and McFarlane Toys. It's a lot. It's a lot. So it could be more fair to do a top 10 per line. I mean, that's something we're thinking about doing. Let us know in the comments below if you'd rather see us do it per line or would you rather see just an overall top 10? An overall top 10 choice is going to be real tough. You're going to get a great quality video, but it's going to be a lot tougher because we've got all these lines and all these figures and things to consider when we're making this one top 10. That's going to be hard to do, folks. But hey, if that's what the people want, us here. We're for the culture. We will do it. But yeah, back to the topic. As I'm saying this in closing, it can be expensive to get into this hobby, but you got to know, Latin, the term know thyself, right? You got to know yourself. A man must know his limitations. A man or a woman must know their limitations. So, folks, if you got to know what your budget is, you got to know what you want to collect. If you know what you want to collect, that'll help actually determine the budget. The more things you want to collect, the bigger the budget probably needs to be, if I'm being real. And I am always. You have to know it's never over, so you gotta get that in your head. That you'll probably never be satisfied unless you're somebody that collects just one line. If you collect just one line and you can stick to it, man, more power to you. That's probably the best. That might be the best way to be for you. And if that works for you, God bless you. Then hey, keep doing it. Do it that way, right? Um, I can't live in that world, me personally. I mean, a lot of the people that I know, the cats I roll with, probably are not single line collectors. They don't just do one. It's rare. I don't think I'm in, like I said, 5, 6 groups. I may know maybe one person that collects just one thing. They might. I mean, even my guys that collect just like, let's just say 1/6 scale, for instance, right? Even the guys that are 1/6, will do hot toys, will do Mondo. They don't stick with just, and then a couple of the other Chinese lines that are from overseas that are out there. I mean, I'm not saying Chinese, but the other manufacturers overseas that have 1/6 scale figures, right? So even them, and I do have a couple that are just diehard sideshow, hot toys, and have some that are diehard Mondo. It just goes right, but for the most part, they will still if they do 1/6, they do 1/6 for multiple lines, right? I have some people that say, "Hey, I just go against the grain, so I just collect the obscure things." So they're going to do like the Mythic Legions, but and again, those guys that do that, sometimes I notice that those are the guys that also for some strange reason, will gravitate towards the Spawn figures. Hey, do you, man? What I said, whatever works for you. I ain't judging you. Whatever works for you. If that's what you collect what you collect, love what you love, do what you do, man. That's what makes it special. And that's why we love this hobby, is because you have the creative freedom to make those choices. And that's what's awesome about being a collector these days. But I would tell you that if you know what you want to collect and you know what your budget is going into it, then you know how much disposable income you have to put towards it, and then you have to exercise a lot of patience. And this is not a retread of that five things video. It's up on the channel. Go watch it. But I will tell you that it is that's something that comes to mind. Because I say, hey, how expensive is it to be a collector? Very, very, depending on what it is. One line, I mean, even the Funko Pops have come down a lot, but there are some that are still kind of pricey, depending. I mean, like the Galactus pop up here, because you guys know I love Galactus. Still looking for that one Galactus pop. You know the one I'm talking about? It's another 10-inch up there, and he will be coming soon. But he's got a regular Funko Pop that's like $200, kind of the Galaxy looking one. You can Google it and see what I'm talking about. There's like a Galaxy Galactus. He's regular size, but he's like purple and black and cloudy looking. You know what I'm talking about when you see it. High dollar, San Diego Comic Con exclusive, like $200 for that thing, man. That's crazy. But for the most part, Funko Pops can be affordable. But there again, there's such a wide range of the Funko Pops. They cover the gamut between sports and pop culture and just regular action figures of something, or movies or music. Everything has a Funko Pop. Hell, you can make one of yourself. Remember that? If you don't know that, you can make one of yourself, one of your girl. You can do that. You got your significant other. You can do it. You got a lot of options with Funko Pops, right? So, on the whole, on an individual basis, can they be expensive? Yeah, but it's not as much as it used to be. But when we think about the quantity of them that you normally get, because everybody told me when I got into it, and I'm not a big Funko Pop collector. I'm not. I think there might be, let me see, just a rough count. There might be 20 of them up there. I don't have hundreds. I know people that have hundreds of those things, man, thousands. And that's not me. That'll never be me. I can't do that. But it can be expensive when you think about the cumulative amount of them over time. You just keep getting Funko Pops, even though you might get $5 here, $6 there, something like that. When you start getting a hundred times six, come on, man, do the math yourself. See what I'm saying? So it can get expensive over time, and I realize that won't be right away. But the question is, is it expensive to be a collector right now? How much does it cost to be a collector? I can't put a number on it. I can simply tell you that your mileage may vary depending on what it is you're collecting and how serious you are about it. There are some people that are avid collectors. They got to have them all. They got to complete a line. When a wave comes out, they got to complete it. I just celebrated completing my first wave like a month or so ago. If you guys remember me talking about that on the channel. And the guys I roll with complete waves all the time. They complete regular waves, and then they 100% of them. To me, 100% means I got the regular and the platinum version of it, right? So I got people that's just what they do. So for those of you that like seen that Eradicated come out, we just recently had an Eradicated, and I like this one more so than the original of it. But now they're gonna have a platinum, which is like blueberry. I'm sorry. If Todd McFarlane sees this, usually he's right now with him about to be out of the license in about a year or so. He's been hitting it out of the park. But with that one, that's a strange choice to me. I'm sure there's somebody somewhere that's watching that's like, hey, you're crazy. That's an awesome figure. Google it for yourself and see it. The Platinum Eradicated. It's something that I don't know that I would take. It's not for me, but if it's for you, hey, God bless you. As I said, like what you like. But I say that, folks, in saying, again, to answer the question, yes, it can be. Because it's disposable income at the end of the day. And it's all about how much disposable income that you may have and how much you're willing to spend on what you want. So it is pricey to be a collector. Yes. I can't put a dollar amount on it. That's up to you, depending on, like I said, several various factors. How serious you are, what lines you may collect, and If I had a line on Funko Pops to tell you, I'd tell you what it is. The only person I can tell you, the only source I have right now is in terms of Transformers. That's Clever's Multiverse because he breaks it down to where he can make Transformers. Because the reason I had to look at it is that if I was going to do a Transformer, especially right now as a G1 collector, I needed some guidance, on how this is. And Transformers are expensive, man. Depending on the class you get. So I needed to kind of some guidance to kind of navigate those waters because I see that can be an expensive venture. So yes, folks, it's expensive to be a collector, but at the end of the day, if that's what you want to do, then by all means do it because I support all members of the culture, male, female, otherwise. People that love this hobby, that love it, have a passion behind it, no matter what it is they collect. I support those people 1,000,000%. All of us here at the channel support members of the culture 1,000,000% because we're all one family. We're all in this together, folks. So yeah, if you got the money, hey, we say go for it because at the end of the day, only you know what you can do. So, folks, sound off in the comments section down below. We've given you several things to think about today. We'd like to know if you would like a top 10. If you'd like a top 10, do you want it to be based off a line or do you want just an overall top 10? That'll help us kind of figure out which way we're going to go on the next video. But please comment on that. Let us know what you think about the diamond situation. Did you have any pre-orders from them? Because you probably aren't going to get them now. And I'm not being funny, and I certainly hate that. But if you had that going on, let us know. What do you think about Super Seven and what's going on over there? After you've done your research, please, please, please get down there in the comment section. Please keep it classy and respectful, but let us know. We will interact as we always do with everybody in the comments. And we're just going to wrap it up here. But, folks, thank you for giving us your time today. You could have been anywhere, but you chose to spend some time with a bald guy on the internet who greatly appreciates you. So, until the next time that we meet and gather again, my fellow collectors, please continue to stay collecting. Please continue to stay tuned. And above all, please continue to stay great. Peace, and I will see you on the next one.